Today we're tackling a serious issue, the bird flu outbreak hitting the United States. Now you might be thinking, bird flu? I don't even have birds. But here's the thing, this virus can impact all of us, especially our furry family members. We're going to break down 20 essential steps to keep you, your loved ones, and your pets safe. This isn't just about birds, it's about protecting your entire household. So let's dive right in and make sure you have all the information you need to stay healthy. First and foremost, steer clear of direct contact with birds. And I don't just mean your pet parrot, we're talking wild birds, especially waterfowl like ducks and geese. These birds can carry the bird flu virus without showing any symptoms, and they shed it through their saliva, poop, even their noses. Avoid those poultry farms and live bird markets too. Remember, this virus is highly contagious and we want to minimize any chance of exposure. The name of the game is prevention, so let's keep our distance from our feathered friends for now. Now, for all you bird enthusiasts out there, if you've got chickens in your backyard, listen up. It's time to ramp up those biosecurity measures. Think of it like creating a protective bubble around your flock. Limit who has access to your birds, and that includes other animals, especially wild birds. Disinfect, disinfect, disinfect. Any equipment, shoes, or even clothes that come into contact with your chickens need a thorough cleaning. We're talking about creating a barrier between your birds and the outside world to prevent that virus from sneaking in. And yes, that includes our furry, scaly and feathered family members. In this section, we're focusing on protecting our pets, specifically cats and dogs. You might not think of your pet Fido as being susceptible to bird flu, but because this virus is constantly evolving, it's crucial to be cautious. While transmission to pets from birds is less common than in humans, it's still possible, and remember, some pets, especially cats, can then spread it to humans. So what's the best way to protect your furry friends? The simplest answer is to keep them away from wild birds and their habitats. For cats, that means keeping them indoors, especially if they're prone to hunting. For dog owners, it's all about supervision. When you're out for walks, keep your dog leashed and away from areas where birds congregate, like parks with ponds or areas with lots of bird feeders. Remember, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, especially when it comes to your pet's health. We all love to spoil our pets with tasty treats, but during a bird flu outbreak, we need to be extra cautious about what we're feeding them. Just like with humans, contaminated food can be a source of infection for our furry companions. So, what's the number one thing to avoid? Raw meat and poultry. I know some pet owners believe in raw food diets, but right now, it's just not worth the risk. Cooking meat and poultry thoroughly kills the bird flu virus, so stick to commercially prepared pet foods or make sure you're cooking any meat thoroughly at home. And it's not just raw meat we need to be wary of. Unpasteurized dairy products can also harbor the virus. Always choose pasteurized milk and dairy products for both you and your pets. Pasteurization is a simple heat treatment that effectively kills harmful bacteria and viruses, including the bird flu virus. Remember, your pet's food is just as important as your own when it comes to preventing bird flu. We've talked about protecting your pets from the outside world, but what about protecting them within your own home? Good hygiene is crucial, not just for our health, but for our pets' well-being too. The simplest and most effective way to prevent the spread of germs, including the bird flu virus, is hand washing. Wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water after handling animals, their food and water bowls, or cleaning up any messes. And it's not just about how often you wash your hands, but also how you wash them. Make sure you're leathering up for at least 20 seconds, scrubbing under your nails and between your fingers. If soap and water aren't readily available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol. Remember, good hygiene is a team effort. Get everyone in your household on board with these simple practices to create a safe and healthy environment for both your family and your beloved pets. Now, let's talk about everyone's favorite, chicken. Just kidding, but seriously, we need to make sure we're handling and cooking our poultry correctly. Remember, cooking your poultry thoroughly is non-negotiable. That means getting that internal temperature to a solid 165 degrees Fahrenheit or 74 degrees Celsius. This temperature is a magic number because it completely inactivates the bird flu virus, making your food safe to eat. And don't think you can get away with a quick sear on the grill. We're talking cooking it all the way through, no pink in sight. Use a meat thermometer to be absolutely sure. And hey, while you're at it, make sure those eggs are cooked through too. No runny yolks. Remember, taking these simple precautions can make all the difference in preventing the spread of avian flu. All right, guys, let's talk dairy. You know I love a good cheese board, but when it comes to avian flu, we got to be careful with our dairy products too. Why? Because even our milk-producing friends, the cows, can be infected with avian flu. Now, I'm not saying you need to ditch your morning latte, but we need to make sure we're only consuming pasteurized dairy products. Pasteurization is a heat treatment process that effectively kills off harmful bacteria and viruses, including the avian flu virus. Think of it as an extra layer of protection for you and your family. So next time you're at the grocery store, double-check those labels. Look for the word pasteurized on your milk, cheese, yogurt, and any other dairy products you buy. We love our pets, and their health is just as important as our own, right? One crucial thing to stay on top of is pet food recalls. Just like with human food, contaminated ingredients can make their way into pet food, and that includes the risk of avian flu. The good news is the FDA and other authorities are constantly monitoring for these risks and issuing recalls to protect our pets. So what can you do? Stay informed. Check the FDA website, sign up for email alerts, and follow your favorite pet food brands on social media for any recall announcements. If you see a recall for a product you use, don't take any chances. Stop using it immediately and follow the instructions provided by the manufacturer. Now you might be thinking, wait, isn't this video about bird flu? And you're right, it is, but hear me out. Getting your seasonal flu shot is actually super important, even when we're talking about avian influenza. First off, a flu shot helps protect you from getting sick with the seasonal flu, which is already a big deal in itself. But here's the thing, if you do happen to get sick with any type of flu, your immune system is already working overtime. This can make you more susceptible to other infections, potentially including avian influenza. Plus, when fewer people get sick with the seasonal flu, it takes some pressure off our healthcare system. That means they have more resources to deal with more serious outbreaks, like a potential bird flu pandemic. So, do yourself and everyone else a favor and get your flu shot. All right, let's talk about personal protective equipment, or PPE. Now, I know it might seem a little intense, but trust me, if you're dealing with birds, especially in areas with potential bird flu exposure, PPE is your best friend. We're talking gloves, masks, and eye protection. Gloves create a barrier between your skin and any potential virus particles, while masks protect your nose and mouth from inhaling those tiny droplets that can carry the virus. And don't forget about your eyes. Eye protection, like goggles, can prevent the virus from entering through your eyes, which is another possible route of infection. Remember, it's always better to be safe than sorry, so suit up and stay protected. Have you ever seen a sick or dead bird and thought, that's strange? Well, your instincts are spot on. Reporting sick or dead birds, especially waterfowl like ducks and geese, is crucial in the fight against bird flu. These birds can be early warning signs of an outbreak. By reporting them, you're essentially acting as a disease detective, helping authorities track the virus's movement and take action to prevent its spread. Contact your local wildlife agency or agricultural department. They're the experts and know exactly what to do. Early detection is key, and your report could make all the difference in containing an outbreak. So don't hesitate to speak up if you see something that seems off. Your vigilance can help protect both animal and human health. So, you've got a new feathered friend joining the flock, or maybe one of your birds is coming back from a show or a breeder. That's awesome, but hold your horses literally. Before you let them mingle with the rest of your birds, you need to quarantine them. Think of it like a little bird vacation, but in a separate coop or room. This is crucial to prevent the potential spread of diseases, including, you guessed it, bird flu. We're talking at least 30 days of isolation. I know it sounds like a long time, but trust me, it's better to be safe than sorry. During this time, keep a close eye on your new or returning bird for any signs of illness like coughing, sneezing, or lethargy. And remember, always practice good hygiene when handling birds, even during quarantine. Wash your hands thoroughly, disinfect any equipment you use, and avoid contact with your face. All right, let's talk biosecurity, folks. It's like building a fortress around your farm to keep those nasty germs out. And the first rule of fortress building, you control who comes in and out. Limit access to your property, especially the poultry areas, to only essential personnel. Think of it like a VIP section. Only the people who absolutely need to be there get a pass. Now, for those VIPs, set up a sanitation station. We're talking foot baths with disinfectant, hand sanitizer readily available, and maybe even a logbook for visitors to sign in. It might seem like overkill, but remember, we're talking about protecting your livelihood here. And hey, while you're at it, make sure everyone, including yourself, knows the drill. Proper hand washing, wearing clean clothes and boots, and avoiding contact with other birds outside the farm. These are all part of the biosecurity game plan. We're on a roll with biosecurity people, and you know what they say? Cleanliness is next to, well, healthy birds. Germs like bird flu can linger on surfaces, so regular disinfection is key. Think about all the things that come into contact with your birds or their environment. Feeders, waterers, tools, cages, even your boots and vehicle tires. Yep, those too. Make it a routine to clean and disinfect these items regularly. You can use a commercially available disinfectant or a diluted bleach solution. Just make sure it's appropriate for the surfaces you're cleaning. And don't forget about those vehicles. If you've been to another farm, a feed store, or even just down the road where other birds might be, give your vehicle a good cleaning, especially the tires and undercarriage. Remember, we're breaking the chain of transmission here, and that includes those sneaky little hitchhikers. We're talking about protecting your family and pets from the bird flu, and one place you really need to avoid is live bird markets. These markets, especially in areas with active outbreaks, can be like breeding grounds for the virus. You've got different bird species all packed together, which makes it really easy for the virus to spread. Plus, hygiene practices in these markets might not be up to the standards we need to stop the virus. Remember, it can spread through droppings and contaminated surfaces, and that's a risk you don't want to take. We're tackling bird flu prevention, and you might be surprised to hear that rodent control plays a big role. Think of rodents like little disease shuttles. They can pick up the virus from infected birds or their droppings and then scurry around your property, spreading it to your pets, your livestock, or even into your home. That's why a solid rodent control program is key. Make sure your property is clean and free of food scraps that attract rodents. Seal up any cracks or holes in your buildings and consider using traps or baits if you have an active infestation. Protecting your family from bird flu is a team effort, and that means everyone needs to be on board. Take the time to educate your family members about the risks of bird flu and what we can do to prevent it. Explain why it's important to avoid contact with wild birds, practice good hygiene, and report any sick or dead birds they might come across. Make it a family affair to learn about the symptoms of bird flu in both humans and animals. That way, everyone knows what to look out for and can act quickly if something seems off. Remember, knowledge is power, and when everyone understands the risks and how to stay safe, you're creating a much stronger line of defense against bird flu. In this chapter, we're emphasizing the importance of vigilance. You've taken all the right steps to protect your family and pets from bird flu, but staying one step ahead means being observant. Just like with humans, early detection of illness in animals can make a world of difference. Regularly, check your pets and livestock for any unusual signs. Look out for changes in their behavior, appetite, or energy levels. These could be subtle hints that something's off. Keep an eye out for respiratory problems like coughing, sneezing, or difficulty breathing. Also, watch for any signs of lethargy, decreased egg production in poultry, or swelling around the eyes. These are all red flags that warrant immediate attention from a veterinarian. It's not enough to just know about the virus. You've got to stay updated on what's happening in your area. Think of it like checking the weather forecast, but instead of rain, you're looking out for potential outbreaks. Your local news, health department websites, and even the CDC website are great resources. They provide real-time information on confirmed cases in animals and humans, helping you gauge the risk level where you live. Remember, outbreaks can happen quickly, so staying informed is key to protecting yourself and your loved ones. Knowing where outbreaks are occurring allows you to adjust your preventive measures accordingly. If there's a high concentration of cases in your region, you might want to be extra cautious with your pets, avoid areas where birds congregate, and be even more diligent about hygiene. On the other hand, if your area remains relatively unaffected, it doesn't mean you let your guard down completely. Continue following the recommended precautions because the situation can change rapidly. Let's face it, we can't be experts in everything. That's why we have healthcare professionals. When it comes to bird flu, your veterinarian and your doctor are your best allies. They're up to date on the latest information, can answer your specific questions, and provide personalized advice. For your pets, regular checkups are crucial, especially if they have any underlying health conditions. Your veterinarian can assess their risk factors, recommend appropriate vaccinations if available, and advise you on specific preventive measures for your furry friends. Similarly, don't hesitate to reach out to your doctor for any concerns about your own health. They can help you understand the symptoms of bird flu in humans, address any anxieties you might have, and guide you on the best course of action if you suspect exposure. Remember, early detection and treatment are essential in managing any illness, including bird flu. Your veterinarian and doctor are there to support you and your animal companions, so don't hesitate to reach out to them. We've covered a lot of ground, from understanding what bird flu is to implementing practical steps to protect ourselves, our families, and our beloved pets. By diligently implementing these measures, you can significantly reduce the risk of avian influenza affecting you and those you care about. Remember, knowledge is power. Stay informed about local outbreaks. Consult your veterinarian and doctor for personalized advice, and don't hesitate to share this vital information with friends and family. Let's all do our part to stay safe and healthy. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more important updates. Until next time, stay healthy.